Hola, amigos! Brad the Big Noise Evans here, and it's time for another edition of Bring the Noise. We're going to be focusing on three underpriced players in fantasy football drafts. Got to get you prepped for the big nights. Hopefully, you're not going to drop the ball. Today's focus is going to be on the quarterback position. So, we're hopefully going to spend some spirals and connect with our primary targets. Before we dive in on the quarterback position, a further reminder, make sure you check me out alongside my fantastic co-host. He's handsome, Pat Boyle, on BetMGM tonight. You can hear us Monday through Friday from 6 to 11 p.m. Eastern across the country. We're available on over 300 plus stations nationwide. You can also listen on SiriusXM channel 375. The show also streams on YouTube if you want to see this highly punchable face. And on X, we're always giving it to you at BetMGM tonight. My personal handle at Noisy Huevos, or on Pat Boyle's handle as well at Pat Boyle 44. We're going to have it covered wall to wall. Fantasy football, sports betting, general sports talk. Check us out. BetMGM tonight. Again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 11 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports. Also, starting week one, NFL Sunday mornings, time TBD. You can check more episodes out. I'll Bring the Noise right here on YouTube. Also stream on X at Noisy Huevos and other social media platforms. Going to be rolling out my top prop plays every single week of the regular season in the NFL. And two, going to be answering your pressing questions. Generally speaking, every single one of those episodes, about an hour long. I stick around and I literally answer every question that rolls in. So if you're racking your brain on player A versus player B in your starting fantasy football lineups, let me give you a little bit of a push. And you can check me out again on Sunday mornings of the NFL regular season on Bring the Noise here on YouTube. All right, let's go ahead and count from 3 to 1 my top three underpriced players in fantasy football drafts at the quarterback position. And kicking things off, let's go to Nash Vegas, shall we? And get some of that hot chicken. Loving me some Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans, especially in a two-quarterback or SuperFlex format. Right now, his average draft position, 149.45 overall. That's quarterback 34. Folks, that's dirt cheap. That's like a six-pack of Schlitz. RIP. They don't even make that brand of beer anymore. But back in the day, it was definitely dirt cheap, to say the least. And I think Cam Ward has a ton of profit potential. First and foremost, the Tennessee Titans are likely going to roll out a bottom five overall defense. What does that mean? Increased opportunities, as he's going to be scoreboard chasing early and often, and maybe every single week of the NFL season. So you could be looking at a guy that's going to average close to 40 pass attempts per game. More attempts means more opportunities to score for your fake football franchise. On top of that, you add the outstanding rookie and Carnell Tate out of the Ohio State. I have to say that for copyright purposes. He has been incredible. He's been rather much the bee's knees so far in training camp. You got Gunnar Helm there. We'll see what version of Calvin Ridley shows up. I like Tyjae Spears to be a safety valve underneath. Tony Pollard can catch the balls as well. And on top of that, he got Wan'Dale Robinson. It was one of the ultimate safety valves who really thrives in the short to intermediate field. At least he did last season, really last couple of years, racking catches for the New York Giants. So you look at Cam Ward, last season, kind of despicable numbers. Number 36 at adjusted completion percentage, not great there, but he was number 15 in deep ball completion percentage and numero tres in red zone completion percentage among all eligible passers. He was also number 12 in total air yards. Frankly, he's got a fantastic strength of schedule as well. The third easiest for fantasy passers, much easier road to hoe compared to last season. Mike Clay, ESPN, is kind of projected for 3,754 passing yards, only 16 passing touchdowns, and padding the bottom line with 200 rushing yards and a pair of rushing touchdowns. I think he could have a little bit higher output on the ground. And I think he's going to have a similar passing yards number as Clay forecast. Could flirt with 4,000 at his ceiling, at his peak, but 16 passing touchdowns, way too low. I think he's going to be in the 20 to 23 passing TDs range. So put all together, again, for those of you in deeper leagues, especially those SuperFlex formats, my hand firmly raised. I've got a big SuperFlex draft, as a matter of fact, coming up at Casa de Evans this weekend. Cam Ward, my third most underpriced player of the quarterback position in fantasy football this season. Numero dos on the underpriced players countdown. At QB, it's Baker, the touchdown maker. Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Shiver Me Timbers Buccaneers. And he's rather money motivated. He's a guy that wants to be in the $50 million per year club, denied that ability to sign on the dotted line this offseason. So he's playing in the last year of his deal, likely going to be franchise tag next year. So he'll probably have a couple of seasons left in Tampa Bay after that. He wants to get pizzade, which means he's going to go out there and tear up the opposition early and often. Look, I know he took a step back last season. He was only number quarterback 33 to just completion percentage, barely inside the top 30 in deep ball completion percentage, but he was number 12 in red zone completion percentage. So he was making his money near the goal line in those scoring opportunities. Mike Clay's got a projected for 3,824 passing yards, 25 passing touchdowns, 323 rushing, and that's really kind of the underrated thing about Baker's game, his ability to chew up yards on the ground. He's got it for 1 rushing touchdown as well. I think he can exceed all of those numbers this season. I think he's going to throw for 4,000 yards. It could be another 30-plus passing touchdowns. Could be around 375 to 400 rushing yards as well. Get a couple of rushing TDs thrown in there. He's got a top 10 offensive line. Yes, he's got only the number 24 easiest strength of schedule for fantasy quarterback, but with Emeka Egbuka, well, I think his version we saw in the first half of last year, I believe is going to be consistent across the board over the entire season for him in his sophomore campaign. I throw in Chris Godwin, who's looked awesome in training camp. I know Jalen McMillan's banged up. Hopefully he's going to be all right in week 1. Cade Otton's no slouch at tight end. You got Ted Hurst there, who's a speedy wide receiver and a crutch that Baker can lean on if McMillan were to miss some time. And most importantly, too, he's got the binky, one of the ultimate safety blankets underneath, and Kenneth Gainwell. We saw what he was able to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. Could catch, 50 to 60 balls this year in that offense, and a guy that's got a lot of shimmy and shake in the open field. So love the weaponry, love the situation, love the money motivation. Baker indeed will be a touchdown maker. That's why he's number 2 on my underpriced quarterback list in fantasy football drafts. And numero uno on that list, let's go to the nation's capital and go with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. Right now, you look at the ADP, quarterback 5, 78.19 overall. By the way, Mayfield, you're getting well after pick 100. Want to throw that in there, but get back to Daniels. He's a guy that would be my ultimate target in the middle of my draft in a single quarterback format. He could be in the QB 101's conversation. Why? That Washington defense is going to be no bueno, rather stanky to say the least. You might say, well, he just lost Laramie Tunsil for a significant chunk of the regular season due to that biceps injury. Having that book in there to hold up the oncoming rush stood to benefit Jaden Daniels, but it really doesn't hurt him to a certain extent. Yes, it does increase the injury risk, but it's going to increase the heat. And that's a guy that can read, react, and take off. I think you're going to see more of what we saw in year 1 from Jaden Daniels. Remember, he ran for over 800 yards that year. I think it's going to be 700 plus this year, provided he plays at least 15 games. Again, there's that injury downside with him. So, for those clacking a clack willing to roll the dice, you could get, a nice, handsome return on the year in the end. You look at Daniels last season, he was number 15 in just completion percentage. Not too shabby there. Number 2 in deep ball completion percentage. He completed over 52% of his red zone attempts as well. You add Stephon Diggs. You pair him with Terry McLaurin. You got Chigakonkwo as well. Rashad White has got some sticky fingers underneath to be that safety valve underneath as well. Mike Clay's got a projected for over 3,800 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 670 yards on the ground, and 5 rushing scores. I think Clay is underselling the rushing yards a little bit, assuming a full season. Again, it could be around 800 if he plays all 17 games. I think he's got to flirt with 4,000 yards, playing from behind early and often. I think he's got to throw for at least 22 touchdowns. It could be as many as 25 or 26. He has the 14th easiest overall fantasy quarterback strength of schedule. So put it all together with the improved weaponry, with his scoring duality, with a lousy defense and support, and not an overly intimidating strength of schedule. Jaden Daniels is going to be a baller and shot caller this season in fantasy football. All right, that's a wrap on this edition of Underpriced Players. Again, friendly reminder, follow me on X, where I'm always giving it to you there, at Noisy Huevos. You can check me out as well on Instagram at Team Huevos. Make sure you're tuning to BetMGM tonight, Monday through Friday, 6 to 11 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports. I'm going to be rolling out next week my Underpriced Players series on running back. So you want to stay tuned for that with your drafts upcoming. I'm going to have wide receivers around the corner. And if I get some time as well, I'll throw a couple of tight spirals to the tight end position. So appreciate you checking this out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Going to have plenty of content throughout the NFL season. And as always, until next time, fade or follow, that is up to you. Adios, Team Huevos.